Communion. Behold, I am in thee, enfold thou me. I myself am reaching out to thee, well decentrated in thy light. I am holy in the spirit. My abode in my body is far, my body's abode on its planet if far. I am in thy light, knowing thy light. I am wholly thee, knowing thy knowing, translating the pulsing rhythms of thy thinking into words, knowing full well that the very least of these, thy words, will long outlive the span of man upon that now far world where thou hast again cast me for one more life of unfolding thy knowing, that thy new world, writ through me, may be another dawn for awakening man. Speak thou through me. Manifest thou through thy messenger. Upon my heart are heavy questionings. Write thou thy answers there in light waves, which transform thy knowing into thy imagined thinking. Unfold thy being dynamically, and be thou me as I write man's word from wordless light. The Word. Behold thou my electric universe in all its rhythmic majesty. Behold thou my body, record of my knowing, manifested by my electric thinking. Behold the light of rest in me, from which the divided lights of my moving electric body spring to manifest my knowing in forms of my imagining. Behold the beauty of my body, formed image of immortal idea, known alone by me, manifested by my thinking. Behold the rhythmic movement of my universal body, manifested in my starry firmament of seeming stillness, an avalanche or whirling tornado, in multiformed idea unfolding from its seed, in rainbow spectrum of the sun or light of moon, in firefly flashing meadows. Behold the beauty of mating and of motherhood and of thinking man, inspired by communion with the light of me, which centereth him. Naught is there which is more beautiful than the light of me mirrored from me in eyes of inspired man, who knoweth me in him and heareth my voice with inner ears for re-inspiring other men. Behold the beauty of drab earth's oneness, womb of the myriad forms of my one idea, manifested by countless designs of my imagining, by forest and jungle, by dry hot desert and the cooling mist of falling waters, by birds of the air and beasts of the field, by singing insects and honey-making bees, by big and little fishes of the seas, and all mankind to whom I have given dominion over all things for his weal or woe, in accord with what he doeth to these things of earth, which I have given to him for his well-being. Thou, these many treasures which I have given to man, and say thou to him that even though beauty is in him and in all things of earth, yet he shall not know beauty in him, nor in earth's things of his sensing, till he knoweth me in him and seeth me in all forms of my imagining. For I again say that I alone am beauty, as I also am love and truth. These treasures of my high heavens are beyond vision of man, of earth alone. Man of clay can but vision clay in all things until he seeth me in all things. The dawn of beauty cometh to many, when he beginneth to hear my whisperings with the inner ears, and seeth the light of me centering all forms of my imagining. Verily I say that all my creations are extensions of my light, which mirror my imagining in rhythmic light waves of my thinking. As I, the light which mirror them, am beauty at their source, even so are all reflected forms in all my universal body beautiful to him who knoweth me as his source. Insofar as man knoweth beauty in him, shall he know love and truth and balance, and the peace which passeth all understanding. Say thou these words to him who seeketh beauty. He to whom beauty is newly awakening may be likened unto the faltering steps of one who would walk in a new art, but whose eyes are on the ground to place his steps, instead of the light of me from whom his inspiration cometh. He who would interpret my rhythms in art must walk his path in ecstasy, undiverted by deviations, that he may see me only and hear naught but me. For I am the source of inspiration in man. To him who seeketh inspiration through me, I say, learn thou to walk thy strongly in the light of love. For in the dark thou canst not find thy way to me. The path to me is light, and by it thou canst well find thy way to me. For I am the soul of art. To him whose soul would touch my soul and feel the heartbeat of its mighty rhythms, say, insofar as thou knowest thyself as light, thou shalt know me as light. For I am beauty. In beauty must man be born anew. Through beauty must fearing man become knowing man. Again through beauty must knowing man be reborn as ecstatic man. Ecstatic man is he who has found balance in me by being me. Ecstatic man is he who has added beauty to his knowing. To him who would add ecstasy to his knowing, I say, seek me in truth, for only in the balanced rhythms of truth shalt thou find ecstasy. Naught of man's creations shall endure, which are not conceived and created in ecstasy. Creations of man which have not the light of me in them shall be as shifting sands. Verily I say, the creations of ecstatic man are my creations, for they are balanced things, and I am balance. To him who would create unbalance, I say, untruth exists not in my house. I alone hold balance, and the eyes of him who seeth through me are immune from all but balance. For I am balance. He who would find me must seek balance. And I am energy. My omnipotent power is man's when he is me. And I am rest, which man may know by finding self of him in me. And I am the light of love and life, and I am truth. Upon that foundation I have laid the cornerstone of my universe. He who knoweth beauty, yea, he shall dwell in my house. The learned man, or he who possesseth great riches of earth alone, but knoweth not me in him, yea, he shall not dwell in my house. But he who possesseth great riches of heaven and earth, knowing me in him, yea, he shall dwell in my house. The doors of my house are wide open to the most humble, and unlearned, whose heartbeat echoeth the rhythms of my thinking. He whose inner ears heareth my voice in falling waters, in soft breezes of hillside pines, in tempestuous tornado and rhythms of pounding sea, in the motion of star systems of my firmament, in the silences of interchanging lights and shadows, interplaying over hill and dale, or in the moods of the winds and the light of earth's moon. Yea, he who is so attuned to me is already in my house and createth with me. To him I give all knowing and all power to think my universe into rhythmic balanced forms with me. To these who are thus illumined by my light, I speak in rhythms of light for the uplift of other men. Such illumined ones are my messengers who re-inspire other men and open for them the doors to my kingdom. These, my messengers to man, who know beauty and love and truth, sit high upon my right hand in my kingdom of light. These whom men belittle, I enthrone in the glory of my light. To these illumined messengers I give all knowing in the measure of their desire for all knowing. He who is thus enriched with the treasures of my high heavens, and dwelleth in the light with me, even though he liveth in a tent upon the mountainside of earth, and shunned by man, is richer than any man of earth who knoweth not me in him, even though he sitteth upon a jeweled throne of gold, and ruleth vast kingdoms. Without my illumined messengers, man's blood-born kingdoms would forever be blood-born. And of clay who seeketh to possess wealth of clay, like unto his clay, is forever jungle-born. Verily I say, even though the sword replaceth the club, man who killeth man is still jungle man of clay until he knoweth beauty and heareth my voice in him. Man of earth is still barbaric, and forever will be until he heareth my voice, whispering my rhythms of beauty through the creations of my inspired messengers. Through my illumined ones, whom I have anointed with my light of all-knowing, man's jungle world of hate and fear, of neighbor and nation, will unfold unto the world of peace through unity of man. But again I say, all men will come to me, but the agony of awaiting that day shall be theirs alone. To man these, my words, for the now unfolding new cycle of man's progression. Better is it for him that he knoweth not his numbers or his letters, than that he knoweth not the beauty of the dawn. When man seeth beauty in the lily with eyes of clay, likewise seeing naught but ugliness in the mire, from which the lily sprang, he seeth not with inner eyes, else he would see me in both the lily and the mire which sprang from the one light of me. For I say that he who knoweth beauty in me seeth the light of my knowing and thinking in all my unfolding forms, and heareth alike the silent rhythms of their unfolding from my body to manifest me. He who knoweth beauty in him seeth the unseen, and heareth my heart beat in the silent rhythms of my symphonies. He who addeth beauty to his knowing addeth majesty to his stature. Ennobled is he on my throne, and a light there shall be in his eyes which all men can see who know my rhythms, for in him is beauty made manifest. All unfolding things in all my universe are beautiful, for all are manifesting me in my knowing and my thinking, but their beauty is not in them, it is alone in me. To my eternal body I extend my knowing, through my electric thinking to unfold the idea of my knowing into imaged forms of my imagining. But again I say the forms of my imagining are not me, nor is the beauty of their forms in them. It is alone in me. See thou no more with outer eyes alone, for thou hast knowing eyes to void the illusions of thy sensing. Throughout long aeons man has walked his earth with eyes of outer seeing, giving belief to that earth of his body's sensing. Throughout his new aeons he must walk the earth of inner seeing and know me in it, as but visioning it in light of me and light of him. Sensed man of earth must now unfold into knowing man of my high heavens, who thinketh my knowing with me as one. Knowing man is cosmic man, who hath risen above his sensing to know me in him as his very self. Verily I say, the dawn of cosmic man is in its beginnings. Go thou, therefore, to all the world, and sow the seed of thy knowing. Write thou my message to cosmic men, given thee at thy anointing, and send thy books to all peoples and all nations to transform them into knowing men by the renewing of their mind through new comprehension. Thou shalt sow the seed of knowing man in unfolding man's progression, and no rest shalt thou know until thou hast well fulfilled thy task. Through cosmic man the unity of man beginneth. Many are they who know me in them. Sow thou the seed of beauty, love, and balance in them, and multiply thou them until their legions shall illumine the dark of man's barbaric ages with my omniscient light. Say thou to thine anointed ones, these my words, thou art love, thou art beauty, thou art balance, thou art truth. Go thou and give love, beauty, balance, and truth to thy neighbor. Think not thou of doing great works in my name. Go thou to thy neighbor. Think thou of thy neighbor alone. One seed sufficeth, not for a meadow, but out of one seed cometh a sheaf of 10. As many sheaves of 10 filleth great granaries, even so will thy sheaves of 10 encompass the whole earth to bring into being the new age of cosmic man. Say thou these my words to thy neighbor. Go thou to 10 men who will believe on thee, and multiply thou them by 10, and yet another 10, until a legion shall be as a wall of granite beneath thy feet. Heed thou my commandings, and sow thou my seed of love, lest man destroy himself by his continued desires of earth, knowing not me in him. Be not neglectful of thine own task, my son. Leave not to others of lesser knowing that which thou thyself must do. That which must be done for cosmic man to come must have thine own self in it. He who conceiveth must himself unfold his concept. The mason layeth the stones of the master's thinking. Thou thyself must impart thy knowing in the light of thy anointing to cosmic man, who will build thy knowing and mine into balanced rhythmic forms with thee and me. And out of the knowing of thine anointed legions, a new world of unified man shall spring. For where thine anointed shall gather together to thus unify man through his knowing of the light of me in him, there shall I be in their midst, and they shall not fail. In my name say thou to man that in his unfolding he shall no longer place earth before me, gaining aught of earth and naught of me. Man's earth is my body, from which man's body appears in its myriad cycles of unfolding and refolding. My body is not me, nor is man's body man's, even though it is the seed from which man's form cycles appear and disappear. For I think earth, and earth appears. disappears, and reappears in balanced cyclic wave rhythms of my electric thinking. Wherefore I say man's earth and man are but my imagining, to come and go with the cyclic rhythms of my thinking. It is not me, nor is it him, nor is it even what seems to be to him. No longer shall sensed man of clay be man in man's believing, for man's knowing must be master of his sensing. His knowing will be my knowing, and his imagining my imagining. Man thus knowing will think his knowing with my thinking. My omnipotent power will then be his in the measure of his knowing. Thus shall the inner light of cosmic man to come control the temple of clay, within which he dwelleth with me, and buildeth with me as one. My universal body is my temple. I dwell within my temple. Behold thou my kingdom of rest, which centereth my temple within which I dwell. My body manifesteth me, even though it is not me. My body is beautiful and perfect, for my rhythmic balanced thinking in all its seeming parts is rhythmic, balanced, perfect. Man's body is man's temple. Within man's body the light of his spirit self dwelleth as one with me. Man's body is beautiful and perfect when the interchanging rhythms of man's thinking are balanced in the equilibrium of my beauty and my perfection. My kingdom of rest centereth man's temple when man dwelleth with me in my kingdom. Seek ye, all men, my kingdom. To him who findeth me, all knowing, all power, and all presence shall be added unto him. When man knoweth the light of me in him, naught can upset the balanced rhythms of my thinking in him, which maketh the temple of his body to be beautiful and perfect. As man buildeth his temples of worship from stones of earth, even so he buildeth the temple of his body from clay of earth. Man knoweth that the spirit of his temples is not in its stones, yet he knoweth not that his spirit self is not in his clayed image form, which but manifests the self of him. Wherefore, I say to awakening cosmic man, whose knowing is my knowing, and whose thinking and imagining are my thinking and my imagining, thou shalt henceforth build thy temples in the light of my knowing and thy knowing as one, and they shall be beautiful and perfect, as I am beautiful and perfect. For I say to unfolding cosmic man, ye must be reborn in the beauty of my knowing. With each incoming breath ye must be reborn in beauty and perfection, and thy creations will be beautiful and perfect, for their rhythms will be my rhythms, manifested through thee, their balance my balance. When my ecstasy is in them as thine and mine, thy creations will endure as long as my creations endure. With each pulse beat of thy heart ye must be reborn with the love of my knowing, and thine actions shall manifest my love in thy dealings with thy neighbor. And peace shall be in them, for thy dealings will be beautiful in their perfection of rhythm in all of their loving interchange. Again I say unto all men, that thy dealings with thy neighbor are with the whole world of men. For what ye do to one, ye do to all. Mark ye well these my words, for all mankind is one. The hurt of any one is the hurt of all. It lowereth all mankind. Likewise, the good of any man is the good of all. It uplifteth all mankind. He who manifesteth the beauty of my thinking in the orderliness of universal law expressed in my unfoldings and refoldings, in my givings and regivings, and in the rhythms of balance in me, is already in my house. The doors of my kingdom are opened unto him for my anointing. Verily, he shall know no limitations which are not my limitations, and he shall know all things. These commandings of my father mother have I translated true for man while in the light upon the mountaintop.